still learning about all the indigenous peoples in Bangladesh. So today we're talking about the Khumi tribe. They inhabit the Chittagong Hill Tracts, and they're the smallest ethnic group in Bangladesh with a population of only 1,214 according to the 1991 census. That was in 1991, though. I believe that after that there was a recent census done when there was like 5,000. But back in 1991, there was 120,000 more across the border in Myanmar. So it says online that among the ethnic groups in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, the Kumis were warlike people. Earlier, they were often engaged in internecine or intertrinal warfare, like with the bombs and the mros. So I talked about the mros before, and it seems like most of the tribes over there were like in conflict with each other because they had their own communities, and I guess they were guarding their borders. But then they have a common enemy, which is Bangladesh, I guess, at the Chittagong Hill Tracts. So now they've joined forces to make the Shanti Bahini against the Bangladesh government. But previous to this, it looks like they were having battles. So they used to live in Arakan, and there was a fierce battle between them and the Mros, and the latter, being defeated, fled to the Chittagong Hill Tracts. The Mros lost this battle, and then they went into the Chittagong Hill Tracts to hide. And then the Kumis themselves entered the Chittagong Hill Tracts after being defeated by a more powerful tribe. I wonder who the other powerful tribe was, because it doesn't say here. Now the Kumis live in Ruma and Kanchi area of Bandorbon district. So Kumis are animists. So what are animists, right? Like, I feel like I say this a lot, but animist is basically, it's a belief that all objects and living things possess a soul or spirit. It is considered to be the earliest form of religion, and the term was coined by some white guy. So it's not called animism for real. Like, I don't know, like they just put umbrella terms on shit. So it's kind of like everything has a soul, right? So like the river has a soul, rocks have a soul, animals have a soul, and then you learn from the qualities of that object or animal, and you bring it into your own life. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because this is what I'm perceiving it as, right? Like, I'm perceiving, okay, let's not go into a tangent about animism, but I really love animism because it really makes you feel connected to your environment around you. And I know that there's this huge thing with institutionalized religion where we're led to believe that the afterlife is the most sacred thing. But with animism, I think it helps you see how sacred our earth is, and just being in this, dimension, reality, whatever. I think it brings a sacredness to that. So the Kumis did shifting cultivation, which is an agricultural system where plots of land are cultivated temporarily and then abandoned while post-disturbance fallow vegetation is allowed to freely grow. So they use the land, they use up the nutrients for that one time, and then they just abandon it. They just don't use it. They let everything replenish, and then they go back and use it. The period of time they use to cultivate the land is much shorter than the period they let the land rest for. So nice of them. So they migrated to the Chittagong Hill Tracts at the end of the 17th century, and back then Chittagong was called Karpas Mahal. I didn't know that. Or the Chittagong Hill Tracts, not the whole of Chittagong, but that's what it was called. They're also called Kami with an A, which means best race. So Ka means man and Mi means best. The Arakanese, however, call Khumi Kemi, which indicates a race of very low social status. Ke means dog, and Mi expresses race. So clearly they're racist towards the Khumi people. It says that the Khumi people are respectful to state laws and the Bomong king, who rules Bandorbon. Okay, so I had to search up what the Bomong king is. So there is something called a Bomong circle, which I think I've talked about previously when I talked about the Chakma people, that there's it's basically all the land that the indigenous peoples have left is basically like one circle, and it's split into like 3 districts or something at this point because they took over all their land. So they basically have their own government, basically, this Bomong circle, and there's chieftains, and they are from the Marma descent. The Bomong circle is led by a hereditary chieftain called a Raja, so they have a king. He appoints and oversees headmen called Mausa and village chiefs called Karbaris. The Bomong chieftain leads an annual 3-day festival called Raj Punna. I've heard of this, which has been held since 1875. Honestly, these people are just living their own lives, and like we don't know anything about, like, why am I learning about this sitting in America on Wikipedia? Tell me why Bangladesh never taught me anything. I literally lived there. Okay, wait. So during the British rule, the Chittagong Hill Tracts were administratively divided into 3 circles, like I said, in 1884, named the Chakma Circle, the Bomong Circle, and the Mong Circle. So the Bomong is its own, so they subscribe to the Bomong king. And then the Chakmas have their own Raja, I guess, and then the Hmong have their own Raja. Like, interesting. This has been there since like the British times, literally. This minority tribal group is very independent, predatory, and loves wars. I don't know why they would say that, but probably because they did back in the day. I don't know. Their weapons are daos. Daos are machetes, guns, pistol, javelins. Javelins are like sticks, right? And similar types of arms. Honestly, I don't know what a javelin is, and I'll just Google it. Hold on. They have an oral dialect of the Kuki-Chin language family. They do not want any non-Khumi people to learn their dialect. Neither they want to learn the language of any other group. Their social structure is patriarchal, and they have 2 clans. What I find interesting about this, okay, so they have 2 clans, Awa Khumi and Apia Khumi. Marrying within the same clan is prohibited. You need to marry outside your clan, I guess, to avoid incest, but premarital sex among women is accepted, but they have to marry if their premarital intercourse results in a pregnancy. They mostly believe in Buddhism, karma, Christianity, and nature worshipping. I don't know if karma is a religion. Oh, just like the idea of karma. I just searched it up. They just believe in the idea of karma. They pay respect to Patian, the master of the universe, and the other 2 gods they honor are Bogli, the god of water, and Nadag, the household deity. A boar, a dog, and an odd number of hens and cocks are offered as sacrifice on the riverbank and ceremonially sing and dance during Nadag festival before Jhum cultivation and harvest. Jhum cultivation, if you guys don't remember from my last video about the Garo and Chakma people, they like burn the field, and they go back and watch my videos. Okay, this says they like building houses on top of trees in the deep forest, and then rice is their staple food, and wine is an essential part of Khumi culture. They use wine for household affairs such as worshipping, and occasionally they drink. They eat the meat of any domestic and wild animals within their reach. The building houses on top of trees deep in the forest, I'm pretty sure now they don't build houses on top of treetops. I think this is what their houses look like now because I searched it up. The shitty part about all this is there's really not that much information about these small indigenous groups because I guess number 1, they don't have a written language most of the time, and number 2, like, they're marginalized, so the government doesn't give a fuck about them and doesn't do any research or like document all of these things about them, which really bothers me because if I want to learn, like, I have to like really dig through like the 1 or 2 websites, and the other stuff is like written in different languages that I can't even read. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, that's annoying to me.